Use the code GENT or follow the link in the description for 5% off your first order at onlygentlemanwipes.co.uk. Their extra large, flushable, fragrance-free wipes are the best way to stay fresh all day. Buy them at onlygentlemanwipes.co.uk.
Hello guys and welcome to a special edition today. We have a fantastic guest. It's Kellen from Scents of South Jersey, a great channel that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It'll be linked in the description. He's going to tell us all about his top 10 fragrances currently in his rotation. Don't forget, my recommended UK-based fragrance sampling site is fragrancesamplesuk.com. Go there and use my code Mr. Smelly 1977 for 10% off their amazing array of designer and niche fragrances. I've used them for many years as a happily paying customer and I highly recommend them. My recommended USA-based fragrance sampling site is the Fragrance Decant Boutique. That's decantboutique.com, and there your code is Mr. Smelly 10, an amazing site with a huge range of fragrances. Again, highly recommended by me, so go there and check them out. Hello.
Dan, how are you? Great to be here.
I'm doing great, and it's absolutely great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're back from a trip to Italy, which sounded like it was amazing fun. And now you are going to tell us about 10 amazing fragrances that you have been enjoying. I'm intrigued to see how many of them I've tried. So let us know how you're going to do it. Is it any particular order? And fire away with the first one.
Sure thing. No particular order, really. These are just a lot of ones that I've worn, going out back home in the States here in New Jersey, Philadelphia, and then a lot of things that I've brought on several vacations over the course of last summer up to this summer. The things that I've just been wearing regularly. So one of which I know, the first one I wanted to talk about, I know I mentioned it to you. I sent it to you in a photo, and I know that you like, as do I, love Armani Eau pour Homme. But this one is a really awesome scent. It's called Battistoni Uomo for men, or Battistoni for men. Yeah, Marte is what it is actually. So Mars, the Mars, the god of war for the Romans, and it's a quintessential citrus aromatic and drugstore, but very soapy. Whereas Armani Eau pour Homme has that spice citrus. This just goes in a soapier direction. But Battistoni, this is the vintage version. You can get them both, really. This one is still on eBay. This is the Eau de Toilette. There's a concentrate version, which I found impossible to find, but this one, in my opinion, is just as good. Really cool bottle, real cool detail on it. I think it's a 4.2 ounce bottle, so big bottle. Smells fantastic. It's actually my scent of the day, and it's a fresh, clean, amazing scent. Great citrus, but real bar of soap, vibe to it, as opposed to something that it's similar to. I don't know if did you ever get your hands on this one when I sent you?
No. I haven't managed to, but I am definitely intrigued to try it. What I should say to the audience members here, do go and subscribe to Kellen's channel if you haven't, Scents of South Jersey, because he shares a lot of my love for old school classics, although you may just about have been able to tell he's slightly younger than me, but he loves the old school classics and much more besides that. So that one I think we all need to check out if we can. Could you just, it's not that familiar to me, so could you just let me know the name again of that one?
Sure. The brand is called Battistoni,
Yep.
Italian brand. The fragrance is called Marte or Mars. It's Marte.
Got you.
And
okay.
And it's so the current version is it's still called Marte, but it's not by Battistoni anymore. But it looks the same. There's still like this sort of centurion or Roman soldier on the cover, but the bottle, like, it's not embossed. It's just sort of like an etching or a sticker, I should say. It's good. You know what? It's like, again, back to Armani Eau pour Homme. If you take the current formulation versus the vintage, you know what I mean? There's a little bit like that. Like, it still smells great, but this one just has a little bit more to it. And if you can get it, like, I think these are around, at least the seller when I bought it, $80 on eBay, $79 for the bottle.
So you've got the vintage, but you've tried the new one too, and you would recommend either one as being well worth having.
Whatever's easier for the person to get it, but if you want to seek out the vintage, I think this is the one. I bought backups of this one. I didn't buy any backups of the current formulation, but I did want to try it. Because they carry the body line and stuff. So some of those old drugstore websites probably would carry it. You know what I mean? And I found ones in Italy that do ship to the US. One of them was called One Bio Shop. That one, I think I found it there. I found the current formulation, but this one eBay seller has, I think, a huge stockpile of this. So at least in the States, that's where I got it.
Okay, check that one out, guys. Okay, on to the next selection, please.
Well, I might as well just bring this one up too. So this is the Armani Eau pour Homme, again, the vintage. back to back, it works with the Battistoni, but a little bit darker, a little bit better for maybe nighttime wear going out. I love this stuff, and I got to thank you because you when I saw it on your videos time and time again, and this is one that I have stockpiled of. I love this stuff, and I noticed the pricing of it has gone up dramatically. From when I first initially started buying it, but it smells so good and it's classic. My father wore this one for years too, so there's a little nostalgia to it as well. Some of the handful of colognes that he wore, I own all of them now, at this point too. But I love this one, and comparing these two again, this goes in a more soapy lemon direction, where this is like a spiced citrus orange rind, and the dry down with this is so distinct. I swore I smelled it in Italy, which would make sense, right, when I was there.
That is an amazing classic indeed. I have the vintage version too, but I've also got the. Let's just change the screen there. Yeah, I've also got the modern version, and as you say, you referenced it when speaking about the previous scent. I think both versions are really good, but there definitely is a noticeable difference. But it's not even so much that some people might even prefer the modern one, but the old one a little bit more rugged and maybe a little bit more oomph in the dry down. But really a great choice, and still completely smells amazing today.
Great news. At nortonandwilson.com, you can now get 20% off when you order any 2 or more individual 100ml bottles. Just add your items to the cart and the discount will be applied automatically.
Let's go to number 3 then, please.
All right. This one, this is like I haven't really posted it on my Instagram or my story or not. This is one that I wear to the gym all the time. Relatively new. It's called Victor Sport. And Victor, the brand that was responsible initially for Acqua di Selva, another like old school Italian eau de cologne that I like, very similar to Agua Brava or like a Pinot Silvestre. But Victor also has Victor EDT, but this Victor Sport, it's more modern smelling, but it's a great, just day-to-day scent, great for after the gym, especially like when I have errands to go run after. I wore it again today. Like I just spray it on myself when I go in, and then when I leave, it's very clean smelling, masculine, but also has a green hint to it, as I would have expected. And it's cool, and it is, it is an eau de toilette concentration. So Victor Sport, probably get this really cheap. So it's nice to have this one. I keep it in my gym bag. The box is long gone. It just fell apart after being in there for so long, but Victor Sport's nice. Think about it like a mix of, I got some tester strips here. Like when this one, it's a mix of like an Agua Brava and Abercrombie Fierce, right? Like I know that sounds like different, but it's sort of got that modern vibe to it, a little bit of like a fragrance that you might run into when you walk into like any random clothing store. It doesn't need to be a super high-end clothing store, but if they have their brand, it would smell like that. And then there's a little bit of a classic Italian feel to it as well.
That sounds great. It sounds right up my street, and that is a one that you can buy in the modern formula as you have it there, I think, and it's rather affordable, right?
Oh, very affordable. Yeah, I think it was $9 to $10. Euros plus the shipping. This one, this is harder to find in the States. I bought this off the website when I was getting certain things that I could only get in Europe at the time when I was ordering them too. So because if you got to a certain point, shipping was free, even though it was coming overseas. So I saw Victor. I'm like, oh, I love that brand. I've tried a lot from Victor or Visconti di Madrone. I think that they're linked. I even think it says it here, made in Italy. You can see that on the bottom.
Oh, great.
So yeah, very affordable. And this is the modern version. I don't think there ever was a vintage. I think this was just a newer release that they came out. But for what it is, it's very nice.
Well, I don't know about the viewers, but you've already given me 2 that I think I would be very happy to buy. So this is exactly what we have you here for. So let's go on to number 4, please.
All right. This one, this might surprise some people because I myself never thought I'd be a fan of it until I was, looking at how this brand, Dior, it's a Dior fragrance, is one of the few brands that still does the full body line. And this one, Sauvage, the original eau de toilette, they really do go out. You can get anything you want from face serum to, and I have it all because that's a part of my skin routine. And I bring this stuff on vacation. This is the big 6.7 ounce bottle, and that's all I got left. So this one I took to, Key West, to Charleston when I went down there for a week. I took it to Italy, and it's a lot more citrusy off the top than I thought it would be. Like I thought it was going to be more like a Bleu de Chanel, and even when you think it's not on you anymore, it still is. It's an insane performance, And not that I ever care or talk to you about compliments a lot, but this one will just garner it for you because of how powerful the sillage or filling is, you know. So it did surprise me, and I wear it on vacation. Especially what I've been doing is bringing like 1 or 2 fragrances and not trying to bring too many. So that way, at least it's connected with a memory. And anytime I'm in a really warm, heated, and tropical environment, like weather, like in Key West, or I wouldn't say tropical for Charleston, South Carolina, but it's hot down there, and even so in Italy too. I brought this one, and I'm almost done the bottle, and this is not even a year old. This bottle, so.
And that's a very big bottle. Is that just the original Eau de Toilette version, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I never really cared for the parfum. Not that it's bad. I figured if I'm going to get one of them, I might as well just get the Eau de Toilette. And but they have the deodorant spray, the deodorant, the body wash, the face wash, the shaving cream, aftershave. Like they have all that. And a lot of companies don't make all that stuff anymore, whereas they used to. And you see my Instagram page, I'll collect all that stuff. And sometimes with the vintage, it can be hit or miss if those are still in good condition or not,
Yeah, of course.
But with this, I mean, you can go to the mall and buy everything brand new, and it's really high quality stuff. It's not cheap, but it's really good. And especially the face serum and face wash and aftershave balm, and it smells really nice, and that'll really just help with the projection on the performance. But not that you need it with this, because this is really good. And for a modern blue scent, which for the longest time I never really steered clear of. The downside with this one is a lot of people have it. Even in Italy, when I wore it on one of the days, we had like a day party, I wore it, and one of my cousin's girlfriends came up to me. He's like, "You smell just like my boyfriend. Are you wearing Sauvage?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." So, again, there's going to be the little bit of repetitiveness in there, whereas the vintage, what was always attractive to that was that it was different and on top of smelling fantastic. But there's no denying that this one is a popular scent, and it's their flagship fragrance, which makes me think that's why they have all the money into the body line as well too.
Yeah, definitely a modern classic. I think must be around about the 10-year anniversary of that one's release. But
just about, yeah.
I think if there's still people talking about fragrances on the internet in another 10 or 20 years, they'll be talking about that as a great classic release from way back when. Because I like you, it's not the one I've gravitated towards the most, but I do have it, and I think it's Duchefort, but no, hang on, Francois Demachy, the perfumer, and he's done some absolute amazing work for Dior, and to be honest, that one certainly has been a huge success. He knows his stuff, and as you say, stunningly strong in the air. That one, really good, and very fresh smelling and clean.
Absolutely, and again, more citrusy in the opening than I ever thought. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's where they kept the Sauvage as like Eau Sauvage is that classic citrus aromatic, where this one is just a modern take on it too. So it's it impressed me. I will say, it impressed me.
A great modern classic. Okay, next up, please.
Okay, here's one that again, I think I know you had talked about it for a long time, and I have a few of these smaller bottles, and this is from Givenchy. This is Xeryus, and this one. Not only is it's like, and I'm quoting you, it's a fougere with something else, right? Like there's a distinct scent with this one, and it's very pleasant. And I've had all 3 versions. The original one I ever had was that tall, skinny bottle. And then I got this, a couple of these vintage, like I think they're just 1 ounce sprays, but it's like this sort of bitter, sour, green notes, and very, it's sort of a little bit of a warmer scent, but it lasts, it projects, it smells great. I think it's any time of year, but there's also like there's a freshness to it as well that is it's so distinct, so Xeryus, and it's one that I'm so happy I have, and I've probably gone through about 2 of these so far, so 2 ounces, and I know that you're a big fan of it as well.
It's amazing. Yeah, I've got a couple of the vintage ones, and as you say, there was a sort of long, thin bottle. I think it's called the Parfums Mythique series, which does capture much of the essence of the original, but there is a noticeable difference. But any version, well worth acquiring if you come across that one, guys, and if you like your 80s fougere type smells, but with something a little bit different in it. A very great 1986 release, and a funny little aside there, they had a little legal problem. It was originally going to be called Xeryus, and YSL objected on a sort of copyright thing, and they had to change it to Xeryus, apparently. So there you go.
Too close to Koros, then I guess that would be my guess.
Yeah,
right?
I did. Yeah, it was a Koros, and they said no, you can't. And yeah, so they changed it to Xeryus, and one that we miss having the original version. I'm not sure if they still make the sort of reissue version, but there's still quite a few of them out there that you can get. So check that one out.
They're in the 80-90 range now. These go for a lot more. The bigger bottle. I have a 100 ml splash of this. And then there's a square version though, like a clear.
Yes,
square.
the in between
smells exactly the same.
That smells exactly the same as the original.
Exactly the same as this. The only difference is the bottle. I mean, I'm not a trained, super trained perfumer, but like that one, I think smells exactly the same. And it's 100 ml and it's a spray. Because I think we all prefer the sprays over splash. It's just easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Distribute. But it's an incredible smell and just very unique. Like thinking of Fougères of the 80s, your Dracars, stuff of that sort, like your Gucci Nobile, like those things. They have the same smell. There are a lot of similarities. This one really takes a step outward on that. I think it definitely should get its credit there.
I absolutely agree. A somewhat underrated classic from the 80s. Okay, what do you have for us next?
Here's another one that I've taken on all the vacations and I wear it a lot at nighttime. And going back to Dior, another newer one that really impressive is got to be the Sauvage Elixir. And this
okay. I didn't see this coming. Okay.
Yeah, no. And I'm just, hey, this is what I've been wearing. I'm wearing it. And like, I'll use the Sauvage Eau de Toilette body line and then put this on. And this stuff is eternal on clothes and skin. It smells so good. The next day. I mean, you put this on, you go to bed, your sheets are going to smell like that. Like it's unbelievably potent. Yeah. And I think it smells incredible. And there's definitely a throwback vibe to some of the fragrances that we know and love of the 80s, that we've tried, that I talk about a lot of the vintage. It's very, very rugged. It's very powerful, but, again, in a modern sense. So it'll be smoother than some of the maybe more beast mode stuff, powerhouses, what have you, that we've spoken about maybe from the 70s, 80s, or 90s. But this one, really impressed by it, really enjoy it. Of the elixirs that I've tried, this one is the one that stands out, and I think was the first one to do it, one of the first ones at least. I'm not sure if you've tried this one or not, but I've really grown to like it. And again, there's a fragrance enthusiast that I communicate with a lot, and he has encouraged me to try this one, JR Fragrances, and he knocked it out of the park on this one. I love the stuff. I was considering getting the bigger bottle, but he said, no, you don't even need to because of how powerful. I mean, this is 2-3 sprays and you're good. You know what I mean? Like this stuff, I'll bathe in this. And you don't need to do that either, but it's such a fresh scent. I like to do that with this one. You really don't need to spray that much on at all too. So worth the money in that sense. And they're starting to creep up in price, but you do get your money's worth with this one too. I think a lot. And it's just, the smell it's a mix of modern and classic in the same sense.
Okay, great description. Yeah, interesting. Dior, after maybe a little bit of a tricky patch in the 90s with things like Dior June for men, which I'm not sure was such a huge smash hit. And then they had the very well rated Dior Homme line with all the iris and stuff. But you have to say, in terms of becoming a really, really recognized brand, which has obviously got a massive sales, that Sauvage line has been a rip-roaring success for them, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely. And I had the I got the Dior Homme 2020, and I felt that was rather boring, and I ended up selling it. It was just sort of like, it smelled nice, but I'm like, oh, this is it. So I'm thinking I might like the iris one better. And then I was given a sample of it to try, a full bottle actually to try from JR Fragrances, and I didn't end up liking it. It was too. I didn't like the there's iris in Fendi Uomo, and I think that's an amazing fragrance, and there's more leather with that as well. But the iris was overpowering in the Dior Homme Parfum. I couldn't take it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, more of a polarizing sense. Some people will like it, some won't. But the DNA of Sauvage so much more mass appealing and popular with everybody. So hats off to them. A great commercial success. Okay, what's up next then, please?
Right, it's all subjective too. So here's another one by Dior. This one, this is Dior Homme Sport. I really like this one. Fresh lemon, and I think there's like a Styrax note in here or something. It's different, long-lasting, very clean. And the Dior Homme cologne, to me, that just smelled like lemon iced tea or something. I didn't love that one, but this one I think is different enough, fresh enough, but also long-lasting enough, and not just the citrus bomb. And those are great for certain occasions, but I think this one's a little bit more versatile, day or night. But it's very clean, still masculine scent, and sporty, but it's like a different take on sporty. Like it's not sporty like this one, right? Like I wouldn't really wear this to the gym. Number one, it's too expensive of a cologne to do that, but it's like if you want. Again, there's no iris note or you don't get the lipstick or makeup smell like you do with regular Dior Homme, but this one does stand out a little bit fresher, a little bit more mass appealing on that scent, in that sense. So I think this one, that's probably why I enjoyed it. But there's something about it, when you spray it. I have another tester strip here. That it's a really nice citrus, but it's got the mixture of other notes in there, which I don't have memorized. I think they do a really nice job making a fresher, sporty take. For someone that wants something a little bit lighter than, of course, the original Dior, which is extremely heavy.
Absolutely. And that is the current version of Dior Homme Sport, because I think there's been quite a few famous sort of changes with the formula of that one. But that's the one we buy off the shelves today, is it, as far as you're aware?
Well, I got this one from a seller. I didn't buy it at the store, so I don't know. I would imagine. I mean, yeah. I
think from looking at the bottle, I think it's the most recent one. Yes, I think that the viewers will comment. I believe there was some other versions with ginger and different things. So, like many of the Dior Homme range, they've sort of changed around a little bit, which is confusing. But it sounds like that one would be a great go-to. To check out, and one of the few remaining sport fragrances. They've stopped using that word, haven't they? So I'm glad to see. I'm glad someone's still using it. It's good.
Yeah, no, I think it's a now cologne is the new thing.
Yeah,
like put that in there, and that's sort of deceptive. You know what I mean? And you think it's either the concentration or not. But ginger is the good. Maybe there is ginger in this, because that probably is something that reminds me of something that I would smell in here too. So it could be. You never know.
Okay, what's up next?
This is the one fragrance I bought in Italy. I thought I was going to buy several, but I didn't. And also, here's a fun note to keep in mind for anyone in Europe, especially, is I went to the Acqua di Parma store in Rome, and I got to see, the guy took me back to where the barbershop portion is, and I tried countless Acqua di Parmas, and they are making an Acqua di Parma Profumo. So it's the original Colonia, but amped up in performance. Because I even said that, I'm like, I love the scent. It doesn't last. And he goes, yes, that's been the complaint for eternity, right? So they're coming out with, it's called Il Profumo. And it's like, I think an eau de toilette version of the original one. They just go from eau de cologne to eau de toilette. I think for like the 100 ml, it was like 350 euros. So I was like, it's not worth it, because,
that's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot. And in 3, 4, 5 months, that'll be on Fragrance Net for like $100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's for the same scent. Like it smelled amazing, and they have a couple other ones that are new, that are only like 2 or 3 months out, and like they're only released in Italy. So, but I didn't get any of them. But I did buy this, and this is Versace Man Eau Fraiche Extreme. And this is not available in the U.S. yet, at least I think. So, it's really it's a nice scent. It's really. I know there was an original Versace Man, and then there was Versace Man Eau Fraiche, which I think is almost 20 years old at this point, and that's known for that like citrus and pepper, right? Really a great fragrance. This one doesn't smell anything like that. It's more of there's a great citrus opening, and then there's lavender, and then musk. And then, of course, there's a bit of ambroxan in there. I think that's why it's going to be linked to sort of a blue fragrance. But this one's a little different, and my fiance absolutely loves it. So there's that. That's a plus. I just thought it was cool to get something that I couldn't get at home. And, it's a designer, and it was, I think, at a Sephora. So I felt it was reasonably priced, and it came with a big shower gel. So I bought that as well, because, again, I like to layer the things. But this one's nice. Not the greatest fragrance in the world. I don't know if I'd like it better than the original flanker, the Versace Man Eau Fraiche, but it is nice. Sort of a citrus lavender musk. Like that's what the feel I get with it. But seems to last a long time on me, and the females approve. So that's always a plus.
That is important. That's actually very interesting. I'm actually tempted to clip that out and make a sort of short video, because I'm sure there'll be a bit of interest in the world about that new release, especially if we can't yet get it in the States. So this is Versace Man Eau Fraiche Extreme. Okay, right. So many of us will be familiar with that light blue bottle, and that was a flanker to one that's actually, strangely enough, discontinued, called Versace Man, which was quite interesting, nice fragrance. But this, you would say, is a nice, fresh, citrusy choice with decent performance, but it hasn't exactly blown your mind away in terms of the actual aroma.
No, it hasn't. Like initially, and here's what I thought too. I bought it and because it's how they display fragrances, at least in Italy. Because I bought this one in Rome. There was this. I even took a picture of it. There was this. It had to be about 4 feet high, big cardboard cutout, like 3D cardboard cutout with a sprayer in the middle of it, and it said "Try me." So I hit it, and it sprays this all over my clothes, and I'm like, oh, I got to go inside and see what this is about. So they had the 100 ml bottle, and for literally $15 more, I could get the bigger one, 15 euros more, I should say. So I bought the larger size, and I thought to myself, I put it on, I'm like, it smells like a little like dryer sheets. And then I'm like, I used to do that. I used to wear one wear, and then I would just, if I didn't like it immediately, I would toss it away. Not toss it away, but I just wouldn't care about it anymore.
Sure.
But I kept wearing it. That's a mistake I used to make a lot in the beginning. But and now there's definitely what I smell is like a tangerine or a grapefruit. Then I go and I look up the notes, and there's just lemon citrus, but there's a really nice citrus opening that lasts. And then the lavender comes out. And then it's musky. And when I looked at the note breakdown on Fragrantica, I'm like, oh, that actually makes sense. It sort of falls in line. And then, of course, there's the Ambroxan, but that might give it that power because it does seem to last a long time, especially on clothing. And Sarah really loved it. So I was like, okay, so it grew on me. It did. And I may end up liking it a lot more down the line. Initially, I don't think it's, I looked at some of the reviews on Fragrantica. Some people were dumping on it all immediately. I don't even know if they've tried it or not, but I think it's pretty good. And right now I am wearing it because it smells nice. It's great, be great for work, great for day to day. You get the big bottle. You can spray away with this one. It wasn't overtly expensive at all, I don't think. And I think, and it's still a Versace fragrance at the end of the day. And there's not much by them that I've had that I didn't like. I can't really think of anything really.
Thank you for that. That is a really nice contrast to some of the classics and the well-known ones that you've mentioned. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest. So let us know in the comments, guys, what you think about that one. I like the bottle design. Sure to be talked about a lot in the community once it hits the rest of Europe and the USA. One last question on that one. Did you find the performance to be good? I guess the extreme would imply that it's going to be decent.
Yeah, it's an eau de parfum, and I think the original one was an eau de toilette, I believe. I think it lasts longer on clothing than it does on skin. Some, like, for example, like this, it doesn't matter what you spray Sauvage Elixir on, it's going to last. This one, and I really used to put more emphasis on that. And then I remember videos were used to say it's not that important. If it smells nice, it smells nice. And I think that's true, and this one, it's grown on me a lot. Initially, I didn't think there was as much to it as there ended up being because I didn't give it a chance. But I thought the exclusivity of it not being available in the States was more appealing to me initially. So I was, let me try it. But I did like it. And I remember in the store, Sarah was like, God, that smells awesome. And I'm like, you think? It's not like, I was looking for something maybe a little bit more avant-garde or niche, looked something like that. But, a lot of their niche stores that they had in Italy, they were asking so much. And it's just like when you're in the community, the sites you can get things on that are not only authentic, but significantly discounted. So, but this was cool. And yeah, I recommend, I like this one. It's nice. It's not a 10 out of 10 smell wise, but it smells nice. If you want a citrus, lavender, musky, sort of a little bit more on the classic side. Whereas I think in 2006, the original Man Eau Fraiche, that was much newer, much fresher. This is a little darker.
Guys, thank you for the scoop to Kellen, and let us know what you think about that one in the comments down below. Okay. I'm very intrigued now, just because it's many things that I would not have expected from you, and a few that were more of the classic kind of range that I was expecting more of. I wonder what's next.
So, hey, let's stick with the same house. I got to say, I absolutely loved this. This was just trying to show if there's any even left that you can see. This is, there we go. You can see the little bit of amount of juice there. This is Versace Eros Energy. Man, if you're in high heat, like in Key West, I think I went through this entire, I think I had maybe right there. That's all I had left. Like maybe 2/3 of the bottle, 3/4 of it. And I killed it in that whole 10 days because I wore it every day, reapplied it. Yes, it's like Aventus, and I love Aventus. And I was going to include it in here, the original one, but I decided to do this because I killed this bottle because I think it smells so nice. But there's also like a woodiness, greenness to it as well. It's fresh and it smells terrific. And if you want something like in the Aventus family, but not going to cost that much, and it's still a high quality Italian designer, I can't recommend this stuff enough. I loved it. And I not joking, I used the entire bottle.
The proof is there. I have tried that one and I thought it was really good. And I think that's a good description. I mean, of course, there are some great clones of Aventus, but this one is perhaps in that vein or in that same genre of fragrance, but not an out and out clone of it, and has quite a bit of its own character. But if you like Aventus, you're going to recognize some similarities, right?
Absolutely. And there was another one also, I think, in Europe and maybe Middle East exclusive, Eros Energy or Eros something. Namage, I forget what it's called, but it's sort of an orange ambery looking one. And I tried that in the store where I bought this, and it was nice, but I went for the Manic Eau Fraiche Extreme because I knew that I liked this one a lot, and I didn't even bring it to Italy with me because I have nothing left. I'm gonna have to definitely replace this bottle soon. Same with the original Sauvage, but that I think for freshness, great smelling fragrance. Good performance as well too, especially on clothing. Like that Aventus DNA, the Sauvage DNA, the Elixir DNA, like you'll smell that the next day on your shirt for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. And I do love the bottle design for all of the Eros range.
Yeah,
really good.
Really cool.
Okay, on to the next selection then.
All right, so this is the last one in the 10, but I have another one I wanted to show you right after. But speaking of Aventus, I don't know if you've tried this one, but I love Aventus Absolu. To me, it not only is the scent super distinct, it's similar to Sauvage Elixir, but has, again, it goes in its own direction. I think this stuff, not only is it an insane performer, but it smells absolutely incredible. Thicker, richer pineapple, thicker, richer regular Aventus DNA. This stuff is awesome. And now that they've done it, they've made it a part of the regular line, so it'll come out in the 100 ml format. And to me, that's just going to mean that these original OG formulations will be ridiculously expensive, especially when it comes to Creed fragrances. So I'm happy that I have a couple of these, and I still have a decent amount left in this one. But I loved the scent from the moment I tried it, and I'm so happy I ordered it. This one was my first. I think I paid the retail price for it when I just wanted it. I didn't care.
Okay, yeah, definitely a very successful follow-up to the legendary Aventus, and something groundbreaking in that it was kind of the first time I'm aware of where a niche brand, if you consider Creed niche, we could argue about that, but I would still say so, has started to do flankers to a fragrance. They've borrowed that from the designer world, and it makes sense to do it. And I certainly enjoyed that one. I haven't got a bottle, but I thought it was pretty great, versatile all-rounder for sure.
You're right, and I would definitely consider Creed niche because they don't make anything else but fragrance. And that, to me, that's like a niche house, like a designer. Great designer home, but Versace, Dior, they also make clothing, and that's the fashion is what they're that's how they came up long before the fragrance. But yeah, Aventus Absolu is awesome. Aventus Cologne, also sort of like this one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That one's great, but I think this one, just for the staying power and the unique scent, I loved it. I love it, and I'm happy that they're coming out with a new, they just re-released Royal Mayfair, and I have a vintage bottle of Royal Mayfair, and that one initially I'm like, I don't know if it smells like soap and mothballs or what, but it's a unique scent. I don't wear that one all the time, but when I do, I enjoy it. Out of the shower, on a time when I'm relaxing. It's a pleasant smell. It's definitely unique. And Creed, the opening in Creeds, I always say, is the best part. And but this one, I think the full way through just smells incredible.
You've made me think maybe I need a bottle of that one in my collection. Okay, so you have a wild card, or you're going to play your Joker now. I'm intrigued.
Okay, so this one is a 1996 release from the House of Gres or Gres. I think it's the fragrance is called Homme de Gres. Homme de Gres. And here's the bottle. So looking at that juice, right? This is a callback to the sporty Lacoste Trophy by Lancôme type of fragrances, but in the 90s, the mid 90s actually. And but this one is like Trophy, but Trophy is a lot really lighter, grassier, an amazing fragrance. I think I like Trophy better, but this one is still awesome. And I was able to get this. It's discontinued, but this is a 120 ml bottle. But this one smells so green, and I know it would be right up your alley for a nice vintage one. And if you want to get just one nice vintage, on the next round of fragrances that you pick up or not, but. This one is awesome. And it's, bright citrus opening, followed by that mossy greenness, but there's a sportiness to it as well. Homme de Gres is really cool. You can still get them. They have 75 ml bottles and 120 ml bottles too, both reasonably priced. But I think you would really enjoy this one. Lasting power, performance is there. The notes are all original because it's before all the regulations came into play. Smells fantastic, very classic, masculine, but also sporty too. Great for spring and summertime.
Sounds amazing. That's definitely one. I'm going to watch this video back and look up for some of these, which I may indeed purchase. And that one, I take it that's a discontinued classic now. They don't make that now, right?
Unfortunately, it is discontinued. Yeah, and I, you know, a lot of the stuff that I've been wearing isn't anymore. You know, because but this one is, and for the things that I know I enjoy, that I definitely know you enjoy, because I got a lot of inspiration and just curiosity from watching your channel and things that you wear, and that really guided my interest and taste in what I like in classic fragrances. And I know you like citrus aromatics and green stuff as well too. And this is sort of a mix of both of them. A little bit more on the green side, but it's really nice, and I think you definitely enjoy it.
Thank you. That is absolutely brilliant. Let us know what you thought about those selections in the comments down below, viewers. And we're at the end of the list, I take it.
Yes, that's all I got for us today here, unless I get anything else. But this is what I brought down here to do.
All right. A couple of last quick questions, if you don't have to rush off.
No, not at all.
Okay. Just wondered so are you still living? I've seen many hedonistic pictures of you slicing off the top of champagne bottles with fragrance flacons. Are you still enjoying your weekends over there? Are you still in New Jersey? Is that right? Or
yes, yep, still in NJ. Correct. Yeah, it's my permanent residence.
Okay, so you're still having a good time up there at the weekends.
You know what? I have absolutely still having a good time, and been doing a lot of traveling, you know, recently as well too.
Yes,
it's been a lot of fun. And you know, as far as the champagne savoring, you know, I've slowed down on that a little bit, because it's become to the point where sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what I'm celebrating anymore. You know what I mean? So there's only so much of that I can do. Believe it or not, I didn't do it once in Italy. And like the stuff that we drink here in the States, as far as like when you go out and get alcohol, in Italy, it's nothing but spritzes, like Aperol or limoncello spritz or Campari, which I love all of those, especially the original Aperol and Campari.
Yeah.
Gin and tonic or wine. And believe it or not, I'm not the biggest red wine drinker. You know, I like champagne. I don't love Prosecco. But I do enjoy gin. You know, I like, you know, Hendrix, or I like, you know, Tanqueray. You know, there's not that many gins. I mean, maybe there are some that I haven't even heard of, but that's what they drank in Italy. So I sort of stuck with that, you know. But I noticed that the alcohol prices in stores there were less, but there was just never any place for me to do it where it wouldn't have been inappropriate to other people around, you know. So I just didn't. You know.
Yeah, I can see that might not go down so well in Italy. I get it. I totally get it. Okay, last question then. You've been doing the fragrance channel for many years, and it looks like it's going great. But how do you feel about things? Because I get the impression, although I find your videos really absolutely brilliant and very, very helpful to watch, I get the impression that you have your own career and stuff, and you really just do what you enjoy doing. And I don't get the feeling you're massively trying to professionalize the channel and get sponsors or compete with everybody else for views and all that kind of thing, and be an influencer. Would that be a fair description? And do you feel maybe that's better for your peace of mind? Because I certainly find when I'm trying to get a little bit more successful and worry about my views and stuff, it can be quite difficult on the old mental health in the long run.
Right. And, you know, I would say that is a fair assessment. You know, as I'm in pharmaceutical sales, I love my career. I love the industry. You know, it's rewarding, it's fun, and it gives me a lot of the free time to do things that I like this right here in the middle of the afternoon, you know? Yeah. So you know what, like I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, you could really do this if you just put more time, you know, and they've been honest with me, like, you're not consistent enough with your videos. And they're right. You know, I like taking 2 weeks and go on a vacation. I wasn't planning on making any fragrance content. And then right before I went, I did a video. And this is, I know it's small numbers compared to your channel and compared to many other channels, but it was like my 10 holy grails, like really rare cologne. And that one, I think I've never had a video that got to 10,000 in the first day. It's not happened to me ever.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I don't get that very often at all either. So,
right. You know, so I'm happy if it gets, I think of like if you're over 1,000 and like 12 app views. So I do look at it. I have the YouTube app, and I, you know, I wanted to make more this week because I do have some more free time, but sometimes I just can't. But sometimes also, if you're constantly putting out, like there are so many fragrance channels right now. There are so many, way more than when I started. I started in 2019. And, you know, I look at the channels that started when I started, and some of them are catastrophic, they're huge, right? Others are, they don't exist anymore. And I just sort of try to keep plugging along and do review things that I like. Occasionally there'll be months where the ad revenue is great. It'll be like $300, and I'm like, oh, awesome. So then there's months where there's nothing, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, so I try to make it fun, and I try that because that gets me more involved in it. And I try not to let too much time go by. Like, cause there's been times when it's been 2 months before I make a video, and I don't like to go that long. So doing something like this, that'll motivate me. Like, I know what I need to do. I need to go make a video on this, be one of the first people to make a video on this in the States, or talk about some of the vintages. I make a video of what my 5 favorite vacation fragrances. Like, I was already thinking of these, getting ready to do this with you too. So I try to make it, fun for me, but I don't obsess over it. I mean, if it did blow up or something like that happened, who's to say I wouldn't do that? And I think that anybody that does take the time to put into it and make it their career, good for them. That's awesome. They figured out a way to turn this into a career, and that's impressive.
Great. Yeah, I think I have no doubt that you have everything needed that it could become something much bigger. But I like your healthy attitude towards it. So I think those were wise words. Thank you so much for joining us, Kellen. Go and check out and subscribe to Sense of South Jersey. We will see you guys in the next episode. Remember, whatever we're doing in life, let's project. And although sometimes life may stink, at least we can always smell good, right? Bye-bye.